All right. Chapter 63. Close. Evil times have befallen the wise and the upright. Truth shows her light no more, and deceit walks the land, garbed in gay raiment and with a bold front. These times of evil and these days of affliction were foreshadowed by a decline in the goodness of men, by the lust for pleasure among the people, and a seeking after things, which brought forgetfulness, in carelessness of craftsmanship, in indecision of thought, in disdain for wisdom, and in disregard for the welfare of the land. Men think only of earthly things, and therefore earth becomes a region ruled by wickedness and corruption. Yet this I say unto you, the mockers of the wise and the scorners of wisdom shall tomorrow be forgotten, and the wisdom they deride shall have its day when they are dust and their names forgotten. My children, I am a man of no mean reputation, and here my estate remains intact, though the greater one downstreamwards is lost to me with my name. Even now events move, and soon all will be but a memory. Not for long now shall I be left to sorrow, nor is the death of an old and feeble man any great achievement. Old age weighs me down when I should be swift, and I bear it as a heavy load. My spirit must soon sail towards its place of origin and immerse itself in the waters at the source of life. I am not loath to depart from this place of sorrow and corruption. Therefore, my children, hear me diligently in the recounting of the wise sayings and secret knowledge of our forefathers. Record them as a guide unto your generations. Now is the day of the wrongdoer. The kindly and unselfish man goes down, and the honest man is the plaything of winds of adversity. It is the brazen-faced ones who rise to sit in high places. The inequity of the wrongdoer is no more than a subject for talk in the marketplace, and even moves men to mirth. The shame of women is accepted as normal and causes no stir except on the thoughtless tongues of the idle. I carry my burden of wretchedness alone, for no friend is left to me among men of my estate. I await the time when my habitation will be laid open to the winds, my place of waiting be filched from me, and my funerary equipment be no more. Yet I am still a man of no mean estate. Death attends at my right hand, but I am not perturbed for myself, but for my incapacity. Oh, for the arm that once bore the spear, and the eye that shot it home. Death is not feared, for it will be as cool waters after a journey in the heat of the day. It will be as a freedom to one long held in confinement, or as green pastures to the wanderer of the wilderness. Death is no stranger, for I have lived as a man, nor is it unwelcome. I look around, and not until then do I fear death, for it crowns my feebleness. I see righteousness cast out into the darkness, while iniquity sits at the council table. No man obeys the rulers, nor has respect for the statutes, which now breed their own overthrow. There is none so wise that he perceives, and none so wrathful that he speaks. The courageous men are dead, and they to whom the land belongs now lie buried in it. A priesthood prospers, and the people live for the days of pleasure, but virtue and wisdom wander the road as beggars. Lewdness replaces learning in the talks of men, and women delight in displaying their charms. The lesser men have come into their own. The bold face goes everywhere, and the reserved man is beggared. Lewd speech and vile conduct is acclaimed. The deeds of wanton women are the subject for conversation. There are no more worthy men in places of power, and the land is in the hands of those who work iniquity. A contented heart is unknown among men. Brother works wickedness upon brother. The hearts of men covet the possessions of others. Children treat their fathers with little respect, and the words of their mothers are mocked. Men smile at the wives of other men and are gay in their presence, but they remain sullen in the presence of their own. Men marry the wanton woman, and her place is established. Fathers leave the instruction of their offspring to others and allow their womenfolk to wander loose. Oh, where are men such as once walked the land? Where are the men of days gone by? Did they all die for the king? Do lesser men remain to breed lesser men, while the best are now no more? The ordinances of the halls of judgment are cast forth into the streets. The great writings are carried away. Slaves become the lords of slaves, but their hearts are the hearts of slaves and not of masters. The weaklings walk with riches, for the strangers are their protectors. It is a time of calamity. A man runs to save his own life while his brother is slain. The grain is gathered by the powerful and wily, and not by he who sows. The vulgar man gains a high-born lady to wife, while the nobleman raises up a singing woman. The products of craftsmen are faulty, for none takes pride in his craft. Bribery and corruption are the guiding lights of men. Women cannot conceive, for their wickedness makes barren the womb. Men say, "Where is God?" But God has withdrawn because of their wickedness. The false gods flourish and wax fat on promises. Where once the voices of joy were heard, now there is lamentation. Men curse their fathers because of their birth. Maidens array themselves in gaudy ornaments and are no longer modest. Widows and unmarried women open their doors, and strangers are permitted to enter. It is a time of woe. They who once walked in white linen are now in rags, and he who never wove is now the master of weavers and the possessor of fine garments. Would that seed of men might perish in the womb, for they who come forth are no longer worthy. Thus it is written by one before my time, and thus it is again, as the wheel spun before, let it spin again. You, my children, are the hope of the people. Therefore give your hearts to learning, for in the whole land once united there is naught else worth possessing. Peruse diligently these writings, and let them be the measure of your heart. Keep them beside you, or carry them to a place of quietude, that they may be better contemplated in solitude. It will be an unworthy deed to make alterations to the record of these things. To falsify that which is written is a wrong against your children and against truth. The writings will give you pleasure, though that is not their intent, and they will bring tranquility to your heart and teach you the ways of men. If they cause you uneasiness of conscience, then they are not without achievement. The water flows away, time speeds by on feet of swiftness, and the unlearned things are uncountable as the sands that blow in from the wilderness. Therefore, be like the goose that extracts the sustenance from mud, and devote yourself to the welfare of your soul. Though the spiritual understanding of man is limited and his moral nature weak, nevertheless he fails to utilize fully the attributes he does possess. Man does not make sufficient effort to rise as high as he could. He does not reach out to the boundaries of his limitations. He approaches but a little way towards the goodness he could attain, did he but extend himself. Therefore, give heed to these writings, for they are offered for your benefit. They are not things recorded carelessly or without reason. They will enlighten the ignorant and give all men assurance that they may steer a steady course through life. Fill your bellies with them as with cool waters. Store them up as a prudent man stores corn against a time of famine. As the value of corn is enhanced in times of famine, so it is that in times of trial and tribulations these instructions will be more honored. Man mixes the mud and straw, and lays the bricks one on the other, but it is the will of God which gives them firmness and holds the structure to its form. Give ear to these instructions, and your condition in life will be like unto those who have gone before. Make yourself learned in the written rolls, and everything you do and say will be profitable. Every word written shall pass correct as a thing which can never perish in the fertile lands. The wisdom shall beautify the commands which are given by nobles and princes. Let they who understand become craftsmen in speech, and have learned fine speech passed on to others their knowledge, that the writings may be received with respect. The heart that is well immersed in wisdom rejoices when this is proven a bringer of peace and prosperity. If within your heart you say, "Why need I these instructions? For all these things I know." Does he who has recovered from a sickness need a physician, or he who has crossed the river a boat? Yet to you I say, be not hasty of speech, for to know is not enough. These things are not given to be just known, but to be lived. Know them you may, but do you also live them? Let this written wisdom be the straight edge to show how much you deviate from the true. Use it to align yourself, to eliminate the crookedness. Not the least purpose of these writings is to reveal your weaknesses, to remind you that your body is but dust, and to stimulate your spirit with the joyous knowledge of the glories awaiting your awakened soul. Whatever your store of wisdom, be prudent. Let your heart serve as a counterbalance for your tongue. Let your lips speak true, and your eyes see only that which is right for you to see. Ensure that both your ears hear the same thing. Avoid all men who mock and will not incline their ears. Disregard the fool who will not listen, for he will effect nothing. He will mock the man of knowledge as a man without understanding. Wisdom and prudence he considers to be defects. He smothers his soul and then proclaims that the lifeless thing does not exist. He spends his days on earth, but he is already as one dead, for life to him is worthless. Men avoid him because of his manner and because of the many troubles which beset him. When you are hoary-headed and men hold you in respect, instruct your children in these things, even as you have been instructed. Every man has the duty to pass on the knowledge he has acquired undiminished, to tell what he has learned to his children, that they in turn may hand it on to their children. Suppress no word in these writings, nor add anything to them. Set not one thing in the place of another, and instruct in accordance with that which is prescribed. These are the things long handed down by word of mouth in the inner sanctuaries of wisdom. All men seek the truth among the temples, but only the great God knows who has found it. He who knows within his heart that all things here written are good and beneficial, but who fails to practice them, is like a man who lights a lamp and then closes his eyes. Let these things not have been written in vain, nor the effort which has not been small be wasted. Here ends the book. It is its beginning to its end, as it was found in writings inscribed to endure. Keep it with you always, not just for times of joy and light, but also for times of distress and darkness. Though the moon and many stars are always shining, when the sun sets, it is night. Done into writing and a faithful transcription by a dutiful pupil of a beloved master, whose name, being unknown to men, shall endure forever in the great halls of the ever-glorious ones. Not all is as the master wrote, nor are they all his writings, though attributed to his inspiration by those who sat at his feet and, following the same path, sought to glorify him. For he journeyed in sorrow towards the sun setting, not knowing whether his seed took root or was cast on barren ground, who, because of his words, was cast out from his estates and left believing himself deserted by God and man. All men sow, but few live to see the harvest or the strange fruit it brings forth.